get a quadratic trig equation where it's not going to factor, right? Most of them factor, to be honest, but every once in a while you might get one. So let's see what happens here. 4 tan squared x minus 2 tan x minus 1 equals 0. I'm just bringing everything over because I recognize this is your typical quadratic, your x squared, x constant. Okay, we're back to radians. So I can play around with this as much as I want. I don't know, what would you try to do? You might try doing something like, okay, like 4 tan times a tan. The only thing that can go at the ends are ones, right? Because I need a product of 1. So, and then I have to have a plus minus situation because of the negative. So I could play around there. I could say, okay, let me try that as a negative. This is a plus. I could try 2 tan and a 2 tan. And that's about my only options, right? Ones here. And I could play around with my pluses and minuses, but there's no way I'm going to get, right? My response is, this is not factorable. So you can, of course, you would try first. So if it's not factorable, the only other option we have is use the quadratic formula. Now, in recent years, if you forget, it's kind of nice because it is on your formula sheet. They put it on your formula sheet the last few years, so it's right here if you need it, right? So x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so let's just identify what we have here. It's just the coefficients of the quadratic, like you always have. So here, a is 4, b is negative 2, and c is negative 1. Now, normally you're solving for x, right? The only thing that changes is just like our previous equations. You know how we had sine of x equals a half? We're not initially solving for x. We're solving for tan of x, right? So tan of x will equal, or tan of theta, whatever, if you have your theta symbol instead of the x given to you, is going to equal, okay, let's just follow the pattern. So negative b would be a 2 plus or minus. Okay, so then I have b squared, negative 2 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Now what's going to happen when I punch all these numbers into my calculator? And I'm just going to get some kind of value here, right? Yeah. So I'm going to end up looking, yeah, it's going to end up being something like this, right, John? Tan equals positive or negative. I don't know. It could be like 1 over or 2 over 7 or whatever, right? But you're going to get a number, a ratio, just like we had before. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's try and do as much as we can without a calculator. So I've got what? 4 plus 16. So root 20 all over 8. Okay, at this, sorry? This becomes 4, right? 4 times 4 is 16 times negative 1 is negative 16. 4 minus negative 16 is positive 20. Okay, now at this point, if they wanted you wouldn't be, without a calculator, you wouldn't be able to solve this question. So we'll assume that we have a calculator with us. So tan of x is going to equal 2 plus root 20 over 8. And I'm not worried about simplifying because I'm going to pick my calculator up anyway. Or tan of x equals 2 minus root 20 over 8. Okay, so let's see what we get here. These can be kind of confusing. So, And notice we got to keep our, I don't even know if this is, well, this is going to be a positive answer. So let's just see what we get here. So tan of x equals, and you should be in radians. So I've got 2. Actually, I'm going to put this in brackets just to be safe. Bracket 2 plus root 20 divided by 8. Okay, so be careful here. Okay, so this is my trig value, right? Or tan of x equals, I guess you could think of it right now as 0.0809. But I want to figure out what my reference angle is, right? So, and I know tan's positive, has a positive value, so that's nice. That means it's going to be in 1, my answer is going to be 1 and 3. Okay. I leave this all in my calculator, and I'm just going to go, on my calculator I can just go shift tan and hit the equal sign. Whoops, I guess not. I thought I could. Sorry. Second tan. 2 plus root 20, close bracket, divided by 8. Okay, so I got something different this time. Did you guys get something different? So, oh, sorry, hang on. Ugh. Bracket 2 plus root 20 divided by 8. Okay, so that's what I got the first time. This is my trig value, but I want to go shift tan. I guess I can't do what I want it to do. I have to bring the answer back. So I'm just shift tanning this answer. Okay, so my reference angle is 0.680. Dot, 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 dot. Okay? Yeah? All right, so now my reference angle will be one of my quadrant 1 answer. It's going to be 0.680 because the next one is a 2. I'm going to save this like I always do. I'm going to store my answer. And quadrant 3, it's going to be pi plus my reference angle, my stored angle. So 3.822. Now these get confusing when they're not special, when you have to use a calculator and you have a quadratic, because you end up with all these decimals and it's hard to know what you're dealing with. So this is the value of the trig function. This is the value of the trig function. And is positive, so that gives me my quadrants. This is the value, this is my reference angle, right? In radians, because they asked me to do it in radians. Okay, so my reference angle is my quadrant 1 angle, and my quadrant 3 angle is found by adding it to pi. Okay, and we're still not done. We've got one more angle to do, or we've got this as well. So we've got tan of x equals, okay, this time I'm going to have a different trig value. So it's 2 minus root 20 divided by 8. So this time I get negative 0.309. Okay, so now I'll solve for my reference angle again, right? So I'm shift tanning. Remember when you're solving for your reference angle, though, you don't put the negative in. The negative's just telling you you're solving in quadrant 2 and 4. So I'm just shift tanning this. So shift tan. This is very complicated. And my reference angle is negative 0. How did I get a negative? Sorry. Shift tan It's very complicated, isn't it? Can't even keep my steps straight. Okay, so minus root 20. Okay. Times -1 equals, okay, shift tan. Okay, this is my reference angle. 0.2997 ... Okay, it should be on the video later too. And I've got quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. Okay, so I'm going to store this again, store. And I'm going to have pi minus my reference angle. And I'll have 2.842 and 2 pi minus my reference angle, 5.983. Okay, I apologize for finishing class like that. It's a horrible way to finish class. So anytime you have non-special angles within radians and a quadratic, you're gonna get lost, or you potential to get lost here, because if you find the trig value, it looks like a radian measure, but it's not, it's the trig value, and then you've got to go further and find your angle measures, right? There are very few of those, though. Most of your trig quadratics will work out factoring. Anyway, so I did. The video should be showing this, and I'll post these notes on the blog too. Probably shouldn't have ended with that question. Yeah. How did I get this one? This is my reference angle. So I took pi, subtract my reference angle, and I get 2. You got what? So I'll do this. I'll go pi, subtract. I'll just type this in, okay? 0.2997. It'll be a little off, but so I still get that. Are you in radians? Is your calculator in radians? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Use the pi symbol. Don't use 3.14. All right. So you're waiting for me to tell you some homework questions. If you look on page 214, 6.4, you should be able to do everything from 1 to 5. So page 214, number 1 to 5. Okay. I'll give you some work time in class tomorrow too, so you can ask questions and work through a few of these as well, maybe. I think it was going along great till we did the quadratic formula one, huh?